You must have watched a lot of these 100 days videos already, but this one is different!
Let me tell you how.
I'm gonna try to survive 100 days on this tiny deserted island surrounded by this huge ocean, and I just have this one tree to start with. But there's an issue. I am a non-gamer. It's been ages since I played this game, and I don't play any games currently. My fingers on the keyboard move like they're on 300 ping, and the ocean beneath is crawling with deadly mobs. I gave myself only one try to beat this challenge, so can I survive 100 days here in Minecraft Hardcore? Stick around to find out. On day 1, I spawned on a teeny tiny island with just one tree to work with, and there was an illager warship that spawned nearby. It's gonna come in handy later on. Then I chopped down the tree, made my first pickaxe, gathered stone, and upgraded to stone tools. I replanted the saplings I got from the tree, then I started to explore the area a bit. Oh, hey look, it's a cool fish. Then I found this absolutely adorable otter. I saw in one of those AI stickman videos that these guys harass baby seals. Yeah, let that sink in. I started to gather dirt to expand my island, but I kept mistaking gravel for dirt. I collected some dirt, expanded the island, and annihilated this guy. This is the only thing I have to survive right now, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I didn't have a bed, so I had to stay awake the whole night. During this time, I killed more of these guys, and survived on this juicy rubbish. Enjoyed this beautiful scene for a while, and just like that, I was done with day 1 in my Minecraft hardcore deserted island world. On day 2, one of my saplings grew, so I collected the wood. I also made some doors so I can explore more underwater. Hello sir, how you doing?
Just quacking.
Then I collected more dirt, expanded the island, and said hi to my OCD.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 13.
I planted more saplings, and by this time it was already almost nighttime, and I still didn't have a bed, so I sailed to the village in hopes to find one. I found some wheat in the village, so finally I could eat something edible. There was no bed in this village, so I collected this wool, went back to the island, crafted a bed, and sweet dreams. I really needed a sustainable supply of food, so I tilled some dirt and planted the wheat seeds I found from the village. I thought dirt can suck up water from underneath it, bruh. Then I went to the village to explore it a bit more and gave Mr. Iron Golem a few pets, because I wanted to make a bucket from his iron organs. I also farmed potatoes and more dirt. Then I went to this village ship, and guys, would you believe what I found in this absolutely amazing chest? Well, at least there's some coal in there, that's handy. Then, to end the day on a good note, I took over these guys' bed. I was short on trees, so I collected some wood from the ship, and on my way back, I got hit by this absolutely gnarly shot. Look at that! I also collected more iron organs. I'm gonna go to this warship later. If I go there right now, I'll get absolutely annihilated. My inventory was full, so I stored my items, expanded the island further, made my first furnace, and expanded my farm as well. Then I started to explore more, hoping to find more loot, and triggered thalassophobia. Bro, what? The ocean's scary. This looks terrible, bro. Imagine swimming here in real life. And I found my first diamonds in this blacksmith's chest. Let's go! I really wanted to go underwater to explore more, so I tried to find something I can craft that would allow me to do so. And I found this diving helmet, but I had no copper unfortunately. So I went underwater to explore with just a door. While I was wandering on the surface, I found this message. Very insightful. I kept exploring and found another illager warship. Not going there right now. I also found icebergs. Need to be careful of the polar bears. Found this villager ship, got arrows. I also found some books and paper and a buried treasure map in the chest, but for some reason the treasure map was entirely empty. You gave me an empty map, bro? Huh? Get right! I also collected some wool from the ship because I thought for some reason it's gonna be useful. Then I went back to the island, started to kill more drowns for more copper, and expanded the island further. I didn't have enough coal, so I decided to mine to find some, and I started to dig straight down. But there was no cave underneath the island. So I smelted the iron I had, made an iron helmet to get ready to go underwater to find some caves, and started to explore. I collected quite a bit of iron, and I finally found some coal. Took this magma block because they're more convenient than doors. I collected more coal, and I also found some copper. So now I could finally make the helmet. While I was mining dirt, I heard some zombie noises. That meant that there could be a cave without water, or it could even be a mineshaft. So I started to dig into the direction of the sound, and it was actually a mineshaft. I killed the zombies, but there was this guy as well. So I crafted my first shield and smoked this guy into bone meal. Bro, is this it? This is one of the smallest mineshafts I've seen. I collected more iron and copper, and good thing I found more dirt, so I went back to the island and some of the trees grew, so I started to collect the wood and made a new platform for a tree farm. And I planted the trees in an absolutely horrendous way. Smelted the copper, and finally I made the helmet. I could now stay in water for longer. Then I went straight underwater to explore more with my brand new shiny helmet. I found a shipwreck. There was nothing interesting in it except these smithing templates. I was scared that these fish could attack me at any time. Bro, initially I thought that this helmet gives you infinite time underwater, but this actually has a timer, bro. While I was underwater, I heard some zombies, so I dug into the direction again, and I actually found a cave. I killed these zomboglins, found gold and redstone, and continued to explore the cave more. I explored the cave a bit more and found my first diamond ore. I also found some lava. I wanted to collect it to make another portal, but I didn't have enough buckets. Then this bone guy brought me down to 3 hogs. You pay now. First encounter with the iconic creeper. It's satisfying when they blow up to your shield. And I finally found what I was looking for. I stumbled upon a large cave, and it was looking scary. But I knew that I could find a lot of resources in the cave, so I marked my coordinates because I didn't have enough space in my inventory. It was almost full. Then I went back to the island to store my items. Ow! I slept, then stored my items and smelted iron, and I also planted some beautiful flowers, made more iron pickaxes to get ready for the cave. Then I went back to the coordinates of the big cave and started to dig using my hearing abilities to find a suitable spot. I could hear a baby zombie as well, bro. Hate those things, man. It would be so satisfying to like tie them up and torture them. I made a hole to go inside the cave, and I got myself in a situation I get very scared in. So what happens is when you get down, the water starts to push you away from the entrance, and all the mobs around the water can just start beating you up. And it's so hard to get out. This time I was safe though, and I could actually not find that big cave again this time because of my stupid logistic abilities in this game. So I went back to the island and collected more wood, expanded my tree farm, planted more saplings, and went to the village to destroy it further. Just look at this majestic scene, guys. The next day I made some preparations to go to the cave again, and off I go. Found this jellyfish on the way, had no idea that it stinks. Now have a look at this absolutely dumb thing I did to block water, guys. That was close. I took a good breath while my heart pounds, replenished my health, and went in again to find the cave. And after a lot of digging, I finally found the cave. And more digging, I need none of this spawner shenanigans, so I mined it immediately. Didn't find much in the chests. But then I started to find diamonds and other resources. It's so satisfying when one kills the other. Nice. Okay guys, while editing this video I just noticed, look, I missed this diamond. Oh no. I'm really sorry, Diamond. I missed you. Ooh, how does it feel to hold that, bro? I keep mistaking these glowing vines for diamonds. Ooh, cute guy. What are the odds of this? I surrounded myself with walls, started to dig up to go back, and stumbled upon diamonds. Then I went back to the island and slept. And this is what I got from the mining session. 18 diamonds, 20 gold, and 42 lapis. Okay, that's not that much. I stored these items and emptied my inventory. I kinda liked the location this tree grew in, so I left it there. I planted the saplings in a 3x3 fashion, which I didn't know was an inefficient way of doing it. Then I added slabs around my saplings, so I know exactly where to plant the saplings each time. When I actually started to collect wood though, I realized it wasn't
that convenient.
And that is literally what I did on that day. Yeah, very efficiento. I found another otter just chilling on its back. I was wondering how to tame it. I really wanted to tame it. I had reached day 14 and realized that I didn't have a decent supply of iron. So I decided to build my favorite farm in this game, the Iron Farm. It's so satisfying when an iron golem spawns just to run into a lava block, then cracks start to appear on his iron body and his iron organs conveniently flow into a chest just for me to use them. So I watched a simple iron farm building tutorial and started to follow the video. Started to collect the items for the farm in a chest, and once I was done with collecting, I started to build the farm. It was a very simple farm, just a small room with villagers and a zombie separated by a wall, stone bricks on top, and finally signs to hold the lava. My island wasn't really big enough for mobs to spawn, so I realized that there are no zombies, so I used drowns instead.
Bro, I just need one who invites you.
Ha! Now it was time for the villagers, so I sailed to the village and this stupid fish gave me mining fatigue. I transported my new slave to the farm, and another, and one final slave for the farm to be up and running. I waited for nighttime for the villagers to be fooled into their slave chamber and collected wood from my new setup for the time being. Bro, I realized I did such a stupid thing with these slabs. During the nighttime, the villagers slept. Yo, that's my bad, bro. Wake up.
Yeah, that's how I like it.
It's so satisfying when a mob just runs into your trap. You're a slave from now on, you realize that, right? After I got them all in, I realized that they weren't getting scared. The view of the ground was getting blocked for some reason.
Maybe you're just shorter, bro.
I tried to fix the problem and this is what happened. But it actually started to work, so I just let them be. And finally, free iron.
This is actually so satisfying, guys. Like, there's something with me in iron farms. It's good.
On day 16, I shoveled the dirt around the farm so iron golems only spawn in the killing chamber. And while I was minding my business, this guy brought me down to 2.5 hearts. That was close, just one more shot and I would have been done. I realized that the ground can actually reach the villagers. He turned 2 of them into his same species. So I went to the village and got more villagers.
Oops, sorry slave, you deserve to be treated better.
And finally, I replaced the villagers. I also noticed there was an issue with the villagers being able to see the ground, so I had to fix this as well.
Oh man, these guys keep getting out. I thought they're too tall to do that. And he killed one more.
What are your survival instincts, bro? So I got one more villager, but it was still daytime, so I knew that this guy won't be a good boy and go into his bed, so I waited for nighttime. By the time, I farmed wood and went underwater to collect more dirt.
That's a creepy sound for this game, bro.
I found this structure underwater, but the chest in it was absolutely disappointingly abhorrent. At nighttime, I went back to the island and fixed the farm. But there was one more issue in the farm. Whenever the villagers get up from the bed, they actually get up in the other section and they get killed. Stupid. So I expanded the villagers' room by 1 block so they don't disturb the privacy of this guy.
I don't know why all the treasure maps are empty. It's a nice view map of the island though.
Almost all the island was occupied by stuff, so I had to find more dirt, so I went underwater to find some. And I kept wandering, and wandering, and wandering, but I still couldn't find dirt except a little. And I spent the whole day trying to find dirt, and this is what I got. I heard more zombies while trying to search and found a small cave.
I have a love-hate relationship with the creeper. I love them when they blow up in the faces of other mobs, and I hate them when they do what their name says.
I found some gold and iron in the cave, nothing much.
Ooh, anglerfish. Trust me when I tell you I absolutely love this fish. What a creation of the Almighty.
Then I started to explore more in hopes for finding a decent supply of dirt, and I found a shipwreck. In the chest I found paper, some books, and yet again an empty buried treasure map.
Wait, I just remembered while recording this voiceover, the buried treasure maps actually spawn on beaches if I'm not mistaken, so obviously there are no beaches, so bruh.
I also stumbled upon an amethyst cave.
Whenever I find this stuff, it looks and sounds so good, my brain keeps making me think it's valuable, but it's really not.
At this point, I had spent 2 whole days trying to find dirt, and I absolutely finessed this drown in the way. He couldn't even hit me with one. Found another villager ship, and the chests were yet again stupid nonsense.
Empty!
I farmed more dead from the village, and after so much mining dirt, this is what I got.
Pathetic.
I went back to the island, and I was yet to put this villager in his room. Bro, I really wish I could unleash these guys. Bro, go in there, bro. Oh, he was scared of these. That's why he was not going in. Then I secured the farm and finally it was working again. I realized that my tree farm was horrendous with these slabs, so I removed them. And while I was trying to fix the vision block problem in the farm, this happened. I started to wait for nighttime again, collected some wood by the time, and removed these dirt blocks and placed them in 2x2 fashion for more efficiency. At nighttime, the villagers finally slept and I fixed the farm yet again. The next day I found this beautiful crab. This is one of the most adorable things I've seen in this game. I did my daily chores and seemingly fixed the vision problem with the iron farm. Here's a leaf cutting ASMR for you guys. I was already very short on dirt, so I removed the dirt I used to make the platform for the tree farm and replaced it with slabs. And I planted a new batch of saplings. Then I had yet another vision problem in the iron farm, so this time I finally, truly fixed it. I had already collected so much iron. This is so satisfying, man. Yeah! I realized that some of the trees grow too tall, so I put slabs few blocks above the saplings. Sir, you're not supposed to be here. I started day 25 by smoking these guys. Now, let me explain to you guys a problem I had been facing. I really wanted to craft a lot of arrows for my future battles, but I didn't have any feathers, and for feathers I needed chickens. And for chickens, I actually needed them to spawn, but there's no chicken on my island. So to solve this problem, I had a plan in my head. I wanted to expand the island such that a chicken can actually spawn on it. But there was another issue. Chickens spawn in these biomes and my island wasn't any of these biomes except one, the flower forest. And even that was just a small patch of land on my island. So I started to explore around the island to find a suitable biome for the chickens to spawn, but I couldn't find any. At this point, I got really worried about how I'm gonna find chickens. Then I thought about something. I was hearing geese all around me and I suddenly thought, wait, geese also have feathers, so I checked and it actually did drop a feather. And I had plenty of these around the island. Meanwhile, this guy spawned and he actually had sugarcane, which is exactly what I was looking for as well. It's going to be an essential ingredient for enchantments. So I brought him to the island and secured him so he's safe from the drowns. You're not sleek, bro. You're not sleek. I know you're here. I tried to lure them with seeds and bread, but it didn't work. So after playing around for a while, I figured out that they actually eat wheat. So I got a couple of geese and ducks and started a feather farm.
They grew up. One of them grew up. That's pretty good. Now I know I can actually get feathers. Nice.
I also expanded my wheat farm so I can expand my geese population. And I expanded my geese farm because I wanted lots and lots of arrows. I started the next day by breeding the geese and the ducks. I also wanted a villager farm so I can turn them to librarians and get enchantments. So I expanded the island for that right beside the wheat farm. And while I was minding my business,
how did he despawn? He was literally in a boat. That was my only known source of sugarcane. What do I do now?
There was no other way of getting sugarcane I could think of. I brought 2 more villagers from a village further away from our villager farm and found this message in the ocean. Then I bred more geese and made a platform for the villagers produced by the villager farm so I can turn them into librarians, and I started to search for tutorials to make a villager farm. When I decided what farm to build, I started to collect materials for it and started to build. It was a simple farm with a hollow enclosure with 2 villagers on top. Baby villagers would fall through the enclosure and then can be transported away. Then I transported the villagers to the farm just to find out that these guys are not linking with the beds.
Is he blind, bruh?
Bro. Here, bro, here. Look. So I had to destroy the whole farm and start to collect materials for a new farm design. After I was done with collecting materials, I started to build the new farm. Here's a tree ASMR for you guys, by the way. The next day I built this system to transport the villagers produced from the villager farm to the platform I made for the enchantment room.
Wheat farm ASMR.
The geese/duck army was growing. Then I realized I had to make the villagers carrot farmers for this villager farm to work.
I messed up again. I had to give them carrots. Bruh. Do I have carrots? It doesn't seem like I do.
So I removed the wheat seeds and proved why I put this title for this video. I ventured out to find some carrots to start a carrot farm, but I really couldn't find them in the villages. But I finally found them on the villager ship.
Let's go. Nice. At least this ship is good for something.
The next day, I built a platform connecting my villager farm to the enchantment room, bred more geese, cracked more eggs, and I built individual stations for librarians so I can have a station for each enchantment. Then I connected the villager farm to the enchantment room using rails, and I planted the carrots so the villagers can start their job without any pay. I cleaned up the farm a bit, broke more eggs, and it's time for tree ASMR. I made separate chests to store the items obtained from the tree farm and the wheat farm. More egg breaking.
I'm still surviving on potatoes though.
I started day 40 by breaking more eggs and checking more carrots. It was slow. I noticed that there was a goose stuck in the transport section of the villager farm, so I saw it as a good opportunity to test the transport system.
Bro died for testing my farm.
I bred the duck/geese army more. At this point, the army was starting to look huge. I wanted to make lecterns, but I didn't have enough material, so I broke more eggs and made more enchantment stations.
Ooh, cool jelly.
Then I started to make a new platform besides the iron farm for my new builds.
Bro doesn't leave an opportunity to not spawn in the killing chamber. You did anyways.
I completed the platform, and on it I built a furnace system connecting to a chest, filled up the furnaces with fuel, and connected some enchantment stations with the railway line, and I was done for the day. And I kid you not when I tell you, day 42 was crazy. It started with a massacre.
It was nice knowing you all, my beautiful ducklings, but it's pay time for what you ate of my wheat.
I got a stack of feathers and more than a stack of something actually good to eat, finally. Then I broke more eggs and killed more geese for more feathers. It was almost time to visit the Illager warship, so I made myself a new set of diamond armor, finally.
It's time, guys. It's time. Peasant armor. Let's go.
Then I cooked my food and started to collect a lot of gravel for flints for my arrows. And while I was collecting gravel, after spending 2 of my most productive days in this world, this happened. Oh. Wait, what? Wait. Don't leave. Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, now that I've convinced you to stay, hear me out. I have failed the challenge, and as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I won't retry the challenge. So this is my pure gameplay without any retries for you guys.
But who really cares about me failing the challenge when we have a banger video?
So you might be thinking, what now? Before I even started the gameplay, I was aware that there is a high likelihood of me dying in a stupid way like this one. So after each save, I created a copy of my hardcore world, and my last copy is what allowed me to continue the game from day 40. And I know, now that you know I actually died, it's not fun anymore, but come on guys. I was almost halfway there, so maybe if you like this video, I can someday complete such a challenge. And I did no retry so you guys know how I actually struggled in this challenge. And as for this video, I copied my backup folder into the Minecraft instance folder, and I was back on day 40. So once again, I bred more geese, made the platform besides the iron farm, made the furnace system, connected the enchantment stations to the railway, broke more eggs, and finally started to collect gravel for flint. I collected almost a stack of gravel, so I spent the rest of the day extracting flint from it right in front of the geese. Did the massacre again, cooked the food, and finally crafted the arrows and diamond armor. And I also made a crossbow.
Nice. Sweet ASMR.
And just like that, I slept that day after having proved why I put this title on this video. On day 43, I was ready to face the illagers, so I sailed to the warship. When I reached there, I saw these dummers dropping into the water, making my job easier. I started to use my crossbow to get rid of them all, and I realized that a lot of them have already dropped, so I went to the ship from the back. I still needed to be careful though, there was still some remaining. I shot them from far away, and after clearing all of them out, I started to loot the ship. I found some bookshelves, which are essential to make lecterns for enchantments, and I finally found chests with actual good loot, including books and emeralds, which are going to be essential for enchantments as I don't have sugarcane. I didn't have enough space in my inventory, so I stored the items in a chest so I can get them back later. Then I went up and found a lectern and more good loot.
What you looking at, Robert?
Bro, what? Bro's glitching. Oop. Oh, oh, I forgot the shield. Bro. I collected some of the items I found in the chest and went back to the island to store them. Didn't find a hiding spot, huh? Yikes! Then I entered the ship again and collected the rest of the loot. I went more exploring to find another warship and found a stranded cat. I decided to make it my pet, so I kept it in the boat and went back to the warship to collect fish for my new pet. I wandered more in search for another warship, but I couldn't find one and it was nighttime, so I went back to the island. On the next day, I headed out again, and after searching for a while, I finally found another warship. I went inside from the back again and started to shoot down the illagers. There were so many of them this time. Then I built up, killed this guy, and collected this valuable loot. I went to the main area of the ship and jumped right into the swarm of illagers and... Okay, hear me out, guys. I want to prompt you to not leave again and listen to me. Yeah? I've already failed the challenge, guys. This video is just about fun now, come on. Here's me explaining what I did next, live, while playing. Okay, guys. Basically, what I did is when I died... wait, let me remember. Okay, so when I died, I didn't stop the game. I didn't click off the game. I went into the folder, the main folder, and then I copied the world. Then I copied the world and then pasted it into a place. Then I left the game, and when I opened the folder, there was a checkpoint, like kind of a checkpoint, because of which I didn't lose all of my progress after I died the first time. So yeah, that's the whole story. Next day, I fed the cat the fish, and finally I had a pet. Then I stored my loot, did my OCD things for a while, and then checked on the villager farm. The carrot growing process was very slow, so I started my own carrot farm, grew some of them with bone meal, and planted them in the villager farm to speed up the process. Did more random stuff, went on a journey again, tried to play catch with myself, and I started to search for another warship for more loot, and I went pretty far this time in search for one. And I actually found two right besides each other. I chose the smaller one because I didn't want to die again. And after distracting the illagers, I went inside the ship, but the chests weren't really that good for all of that. I also found some prisoners in the ship. You guys are cooked everywhere, bro. Then I went to a village and I started to find a villager that may sell paper, but I couldn't find any. And I did some research and found out that villagers don't sell paper, they just buy it. So I sailed back to the island, and at this point I couldn't think of getting sugarcane in any way, but I already had some books stored that I found earlier, so I started to make bookshelves with them, hoping that I could make enough lecterns with them. And I actually got 12 lecterns, which is pretty good, and I still had some more books left. I made more bookshelves and more lecterns, and finally I had 22 lecterns, which is plenty, and if I wanted more I could just loot more books. So all I was waiting for now was the villager farm to work so I could get some nice enchantments and finally go to the forbidden oven. On day 50 I started to plant more carrots because I wanted to speed up the villager farm, and after waiting for a while I noticed a baby villager in the farm. So I knew that the farm was working now and I just had to wait for more villagers to be produced. During this time I thought about starting a raid, and I started to check my surroundings to assess whether this would be a good idea. I couldn't get myself to start it yet though. I just kept waiting, giving the villagers more carrots, and it was working.
Be ready. Be ready.
I was yet to make another portal, but for that I needed lava, so I decided to go into the ocean to find a cave. I found a shipwreck, more books and smithing templates. I heard a zombie and thought it was a cave, but after digging for a while I found out that it was just a small pocket. I went out again, and while I was trying to find a good cave, Mr. Great White recreated the initial tragedy. Guys, you already know the drill by now, just bear with me. Then I went far away from that spot, and while swimming I heard a skeleton, so I dug down and it was a mine shaft, but it was really small.
These sounds, bro.
Then I started to dig down in a random direction, and I ran into diamonds and also found a cave. I got rid of these friends ready to receive a new guest, and it was a really good big lush cave. So I started to collect more resources and diamonds. While I was arranging my inventory, I surprisingly finessed this clutch.
Bro died for nothing.
There was a lot of obsidian already there, so I mined enough obsidian to create another portal, and after I was done collecting, I explored the cave a bit more and collected more diamonds. Then it was time to get out. I made sure there are no sharks nearby and got out and sailed to the island. I started to check on the villager farm, and I noticed that one of the baby villagers had grown up, so I transported him to one of the enchantment stations and I started to search for a good enchantment. And after some tries,
nice. This is what I was looking for.
then I stowed my loot, gave the villagers more carrots, and finally made the nether portal. The next day I wanted to light up the nether portal, but I didn't have a flint and steel, so I made one and then lit the nether portal. I checked on the villager farm more and the carrots were growing, and I found that another baby villager had grown up, so I transported him to one of the enchantment stations and started to search for another nice enchantment. And at one point I got the flame enchantment and thought about keeping it, but decided to change it because
Wait, but I don't think I can put flame with infinity.
And after a lot of tries, I finally got efficiency 4. I really needed this.
Wheat ASMR.
Stored the wheat and replanted the seeds, and by this time a new villager had been produced by the villager farm. More egg breaking. At this point in time I was really thinking about starting a raid on the island, but I was really nervous. I grew more carrots using bone meal and gave the carrots to the villagers to speed up the villager farm. I also covered the villager farm from the top, so if I were to start a raid the villagers would be safe. Then I wandered around on the island thinking about the raid even more and whether to start it or not. I also covered up the villagers on the enchantment stations so no villagers could reach them if I were to start a raid.
Tree ASMR.
I thought about starting a raid in another area so the island could be safe, so I took the raid potion with me and sailed to the nearby village.
Are you ready? Okay. Good for nothing.
I drank the potion and there was no raid. Probably because there was no suitable platform for the villagers to spawn, but I didn't notice this while I was playing.
I wonder from where they would come. Like, there's no way here.
Talk about anticlimactic. Wait, are they glitched?
Because that one's working.
That guy seems glitched.
Sir, Are you glitched? You're not glitched.
So I sailed back to the island and I kept thinking about starting the raid on the island, but I just couldn't get myself to.
Maybe if I drink it here, then they might spawn on these platforms. But it would be very difficult to deal with them.
Then just to check my spawn point in the nether, I went to the nether.
Okay, since there's a lot of time in all of this happening, I'm gonna take the risk. Let's go.
I had to look at the surroundings for a while to check if there's something interesting. There was nothing much interesting, so I went back to the overworld. On day 59, I was feeling stupid enough to start a raid, so I thought about this for a while, and finally...
I'm gonna take the risk.
I started to search for the illagers, but couldn't find them anywhere, and the raid bar was indicating only one illager.
Okay, I think a guy actually spawned. Where is he?
So I started to kill the illagers spread around the island. Now this one. Got him.
Okay, it was him. Now what?
After I killed the only illager in the first wave, the second wave of illagers spawned on the island. It was very risky to face them head on, so I stayed in the boat and started to kill them from far away using my crossbow. And while I was fighting them, I noticed something.
Where are the villagers? What? Bro, what? Wait a minute. Okay, these ones are safe. No. Good. But wait, what? Where did those ones go? And what about these? Okay, they are here as well. So, good.
The other villagers were safe though, so I started to fight the illagers again. And I got over the first wave pretty easily. Then the third wave of illagers spawned, and I applied the same strategy to fight them. I stayed in the boat and killed them all with the crossbow. After a while, I was done with wave 3rd as well, after which the 4th wave had already spawned. But I noticed the night time was approaching and I didn't want to fight the goofy gang at the night time, so I went to a safe spot and slept. Right after waking up, I made a new boat and started to shoot them with the crossbow from a distance. I got past the wave and checked the safety of the villagers in the enchantment room.
Wait. Okay, guys still here. Nice.
Then I started to shoot them in the next wave.
Okay, there are too many now. I don't have enough arrows for all of these. Or do I?
In the next wave, the totem guy spawned, which I was really looking forward to because I really wanted the totem.
Oh yeah, this guy drops the thing.
Then these little goofballs spawned.
Okay. Oh, these ones are really bad. Okay, here he is. Okay. Bro, he's so fast. He's like a rat. Oh, she missed. My sword is enough for you. But I still... Whoa. Crazy timing.
It was nighttime again, so I took a safe spot and slept again. The next day I continued to shoot.
Oh. They do so much damage, bro. Get off me, bruh. Get off me.
These guys are so stubborn, man. After a while, I got the second totem guy as well.
Nice.
I had been trying to shoot the illagers, but the Vexes were being a big obstacle, so I couldn't kill many of them and went to the village to sleep. By this time, I had collected 3 totems, so pretty solid. There was no bed in the village, so I went to the villager ship to pass the night. I woke up and went back to fight and started to shoot from far away. Meanwhile, this happened.
Whoa. Bro killed my only cat. You will be avenged, my unnamed cat.
At this point, I was really running short on arrows, and more arrows were being wasted because of these stupid Vexes. And while I was trying to fight the illagers, these Vexes kept following me for large distances, so I couldn't kill the illagers and get past the wave. So I kept shooting and shooting and the day came to an end, so I went to the ship and slept again. I woke up and went to the fight again. I had no more arrows left, so I started to kill them with my sword. But these Vexes are so hard to hit, man. I was trying to finish the wave, but these Vexes were making it so much more difficult. At one point, I wanted to check if these Vexes can go underwater, because if they couldn't, then I could just kill them from underwater.
Wait, can these go underwater? They can. Bruh.
And that was the biggest mistake I did in this world. When I went back up, I found out these two stupid Vexes were occupying my boat. So I panicked and
cooked.
I moved away from the boat. And I'll just let you watch what happened next, man. No!
No. No. Bro. Okay, bro. Come on. No, bro. No. Bro.
You must be wondering, why don't I just use my backup folder again? Well, after I died this time, I copied the folder, thinking that this death must not be updated in the folder. And I overwrited my backup folder. You probably have already watched a lot of successful 100-day videos.
Enjoy this failed one this time.
And guys, that is gonna be the end of this video. We went from this tiny island with just one tree to this beautiful tropical... Nah, this doesn't deserve a nice outro. Anyway, subscribe here!